My mornings are chaos. I need coffee that works as hard as I do. That's why I drink Everyday Dose, coffee with benefits. It's rich, delicious coffee boosted with mushrooms, collagen, and nootropics. Everything I need for focus and balance, ready in 30 seconds. The Black Friday sale is on. Get 61% off your first Coffee Plus starter kit, a free A2 probiotic creamer, and over $100 in free gifts. Plus, enter for a chance to win $100 cash or get your entire order refunded. Visit everydaydose.com/podcast or use code podcast at checkout.
Hello, kiddies. This is yours duly, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And you're listening to Slasher Radio.
How's your day going?
Not too bad, actually. Today is kind of nice.
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hi,
Nice
Mike.
to talk to you finally.
Yes, hey. Thank you so much for doing this. This is very, very fun for us. We don't do podcasts that often. No, but it's true. I mean, for
It's
us,
absolutely
Matt,
true.
Matt does all the work, and I just basically listen. but but it's true. We don't do as much podcasts. And I love podcasts, and I think it's really, really cool that you reach out to us. So thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
thanks for joining us.
Very, very cool. So we're ready to discuss everything with you.
Like I said, my producer, I think, is up there. She is. Allie, are you connected?
Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
if you don't mind, we'll just hop right into it then. We have a lot to
course.
talk about. Again, thank you very much for taking some time. I know I can only imagine how busy you guys are.
You know what? This is the fun bit for me. So I'm
Okay.
super happy that we get to talk about everything we've been working on. I spend most of my days actually working on stuff that's going to happen in a year or two. So like being in the thick of it, so to speak, is kind of
Mhm.
it's kind of nice.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I'm trying to figure out where to begin here because that is a great point, and that I would like to talk a little about that because you guys are so passionate about the stuff that you guys do, and what's it like working on things and kind of having to hold back and all, like what goes into that? Like how does your brain function?
It's excruciating to start. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love my job. I'm having a good time with this, but and it's weird because I've been doing this for like 8 years, and this meaning Dead by Daylight, right?
Mhm.
Because I've been in the industry for much longer than that. I'm an old man, but Dead by Daylight has been going on for about 8 years, and at the beginning, like the stuff we worked on and the surprises that we had in store were like a month, 2 months in advance. Like we didn't have that much visibility ahead. There was a small little team. When we launched the game in 2016, there were 30 of us, right? So there's only so much you can do with that team. And so we grew obviously, and now with over 300 and some people working on the game, obviously we have a cadence that's never slowed down, and we have to continue making stuff. But so we can look forward to what's going to happen in 6 months, what's going to happen in a year, and we can already plan ahead much more than we used to. We still make changes and have stuff that we can act really fast when we need to. But most of the stuff is like planned ahead at least 6 months to probably a year. So
And
it
nothing.
is. No, go ahead, please.
Oh no, I was just gonna. And nothing ever goes wrong that you have to change stuff along the way. That I could only imagine the speed bumps you pass on all different angles from stuff like that. Absolutely.
I mean, we get better at it. But yeah, you're right.
Mhm.
We do mess up once in a while, and I think that the team is very good at sort of scrambling when stuff happens and pulling together and figuring it out. There's very little time spent on blame, let's say.
Oh yeah.
It's all about like it's like we have a situation. How do we make the best of this? And sometimes it's an opportunity, and sometimes it's a crisis. We've had a few of each of those and everything in between. But for my part, yeah, I spend a lot of my time talking about stuff that's amazing that we're going to do in a year, and so I rarely get the chance to talk to people about something super exciting that we're going to do because it's always so far ahead what I do in my daily life. So when we do these press conferences and these interviews, I tend to be able to talk about the stuff that we just announced that's really exciting, and that's kind of refreshing for me. As a side note, you have to interrupt me and jump in because I tend to ramble on and I will never stop talking if you don't.
We just had a conversation. I was just talking to Kat and Allie. I said, yeah, feel free to interrupt me whenever. I'm used to it. It's fine.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have a giant amount of stuff that you have going on. So what I would like to start with first, before we get into everything going on more immediate, the board game you guys have work coming out.
Yeah.
You had that up on Kickstarter. You guys were only asking, the goal was 250,000. It raised over $1 million.
Yeah,
What's going on
the
with
thing
that?
you have to know about this is obviously we worked with a company to do that. I'm a huge board game nerd. I have a ton in my basement. We have regular game nights at my house, and I'm not the only one on the team. And I think that globally it's a hobby that's become more and more uh, popular. But uh, so we looked around, we shopped for great companies that make board games well and that know how to take a product and sort of reflect it because that's not an easy thing to do. And
Mhm.
and once we found the right partner, we sort of let them do their thing the way they're used to. A lot of companies use Kickstarter for board games, so it wasn't a behavior project. It was level 99 handling this from start to finish. We were there on the design side. So every
Mhm.
step of the way we were with them. We used the tabletop simulator as a way to prototype and test the design of the game, which is revolutionary for board game creators. And it was really cool because we could just all be remote. Obviously, a lot of it happened during the pandemic times. So
Mhm.
we jumped in, we tried a few mechanics, and we helped them really nail down the Dead by Daylight trial experience in board game form. I'm super happy with the result, but the whole Kickstarter campaign was totally on them. So they sort of aimed for what they usually aim for. Their kind of board games that they make, and they're like, okay, let's be a little ambitious and go for $200,000. So we we were quite confident we were going to blow way past that, which we did.
Absolutely.
But it was essentially made on their scale.
That's great.
Yeah.
And having someone like, because, you can't even begin to compare video games to board games. So yeah, having someone who's in that world and knows how to lay that groundwork. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great.
It's it's something else also. I think that globally at Behavior, it's part of our culture. Internally, we do that, and externally too. But like, find people that are extremely good at their job, and then
Mhm.
leave them alone. Let them do their thing, right? So there's very little like red tape and like management oversight. It's not part of the culture of how we do things. So if you hire a really good music composer, don't tell them how to compose music. Like just let them do their thing and they will like there's a lot of like giving people a sense of ownership and being able to sort of flex whatever muscles you have.
And I'm sure that mentality comes from, you guys doing what you do as well, because you get
It-
involved in so many things and
yeah, well,
licensing and yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it starts also from. I mean, Behavior's been making games for about 30 years. Most of it
Mhm.
was work for hire for other companies and for licensors. So being extremely efficient with our time and having a lot of really good generalists, like people who could just wear whatever hat we need today, has always been sort of part of the DNA of the company. Uh, and we couldn't have this sort of I mean it was growing pains also because we have changed. Like when I was at the company 10 years ago, we were about 250 employees total. Now we're over 1,000. So
Wow.
clearly the sort of the management tax that you have on top of every project has grown also, and it's something that we weren't really used to, but we had to adapt.
Absolutely. The next thing I wanted to bring up was the comic that you
Yeah.
guys have coming out. You're working with Titan Comics. They've done things like Blade Runner, Bloodborne, Doctor Who, very, very,
Oh,
very
yes.
proven company. This is going to be available early June, is what I was reading.
Yeah, I'm sure Ode can give me the exact date, and she's probably scrambling in the background to find it. But we
So far, I'm sorry. So far, it's only early June. I don't have a
Okay.
more precise date than
perfect.
that.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah.
But that's it. So yeah, it's coming any minute now, almost. And it was great working with them. And again, that's another example. We had an idea. We're like, oh, let's find other ways to tell more Dead by Daylight stories. Like talk about the lore that we've created and expand our universe. And the comic book felt kind of a really interesting place to tell different stories and not step on our own toes, so to speak. So we looked around, we tried to find the right partner for this. We met with a lot of really cool people, but then Titan sort of blew us out of the water because you named a couple, but like they did amazing stuff with like Life is Strange, Bloodborne, Horizon Zero Dawn, and in a like they've done a lot of stuff with other franchises, but specifically video games. They were able to take video games that have really interesting lore and sort of go on a tangent and tell a story in that universe, which is exactly what we wanted to do. So we helped them figure out a theme. We were lucky enough to get an amazing writer that was already a huge fan of the game, uh, and then and find the right artists for this. And the great thing is we could do potentially another series down the line with a completely different writer, a completely different artist, and tell a completely different story in the world of Dead by Daylight. So it's a really interesting medium to tell more of our stories.
Absolutely. And how, I mean, I don't know how much you can speak on this, but these are going to be, I would assume, very close to the lore that we have known from the game, or expanding.
It is 100% canon. It is
Okay.
100% canon to the story. But for instance, the first comic book series that we're doing right now is a 4-issue run that will tell. It's sort of the origin story of the Legion. So like
Mhm.
it's very rooted in reality. It's like a teenage angst story. It's very very like real, if you will. There's
Mhm.
not that many supernatural elements because the biggest part of that story is how they became to be the thing that attracted the entity's attention. So what we're telling in that sense is the story of how they became the Legion. But you're right in a sense. The next run could be something completely supernatural that happens in a sort of multiverse version of the weird way the entity creates its world, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then that gives you that, because that can't really play out in, especially a multiplayer game. Storytelling doesn't, it kind of loses it a little bit, and this is a perfect medium for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that without tooting our own horn, we were sort of clever in the way we built the narrative in our game
Oh,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
there's no like big cutscenes. There's nothing that stops
Yeah.
the pure hide and seek gameplay. But like over the first year, most of the story was either the short little blurbs about the characters or like the flavor text for the add-ons or for the offerings or all of that. And that's where most of the story was told. And as we grew, obviously the addition of the archives was a huge step in there so that we could
Mhm.
really delve much deeper. But now we have so many different channels to tell that story, and that story has become much richer also than it was at first when we launched with 3 killers and 4 survivors. Uh, there were quite a lot of plot holes, quite a lot of unanswered questions, which is great for horror stories. Like you
Oh yeah.
want a lot of unanswered questions. You want people to wonder what it is and sort of make up their own details. But I mean, it's sort of to a certain extent, even the design of the entity itself, that black smoke, was a way for us to sort of patch corners, right? It's like the
Absolutely.
question was, okay, so yeah, we have a map that's made out of tiles and we have borders around, and if someone asks like, what's beyond the border? Like we're like, oh, we don't care about that. And they're like, no, but we have to see something there, right? We go, just put black smoke and we'll figure it out later. And that's sort of built around that into how is this world made? Like, what's this nightmare made out of? And the questions that we didn't want to answer and that we answered sort of slowly around the years led to the story that we have today.
Absolutely. And yeah, I can't wait for it to see how it plays out on ink for sure.
Mm.
The next venture you guys are going into are the U2s.
Yeah.
And I know Funkos were a big topic in the community for so long, and
Yeah.
you guys ended up going with U2s, but honestly, I own Funkos. I like Funkos. Funkos are great. Everybody loves them. But I feel I love the decision you guys made going with the U2s because there's so much more creativeness that you could throw in there. And what was the decision like going with U2s and that relationship and what's coming next?
I mean, it's a bit of a painful story. I don't know how deep in details I can get into on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But that's okay. Like literally a couple of years ago, it was 2 years ago, we ended, or I ended the anniversary with the big mic drop of saying Funko Pops are coming, and people got mad, and the reaction videos we got were amazing for that. And we know like there are fans out there of Funko. Uh, but yeah, it painfully through a lot of uh, conversations. It ended up not working in the end, and it was sort of sad. But then the U2s popped up seemingly out of nowhere. We had a like friend of a friend that just said, "Oh, maybe we should meet and talk about what could be done." And what they presented, I mean, you're right. It's sort of creative, and it's got a vision. I mean, Funkos are cool and all, but
Yeah,
Funko Pop always looks like a Funko Pop. I
absolutely.
think that
Yeah.
the Funko brand is probably much stronger
Yeah.
stylistically, so everything ends up looking sort of the same way. And the U2s really ended up having such a strong personality. The look that they gave, uh, I mean, nobody on our side, at least, is sad of how this story played out. There were some pains around the way, but seriously, the result is absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, we're super happy with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And like I said, that creativity and for the characters you guys have or
Yeah.
it needs that freedom to kind of be its own thing.
And the most difficult thing usually in these relationships is which characters should be picked, because at this point we have
Yeah.
so many, and like you start listing, you're like, oh, obviously it should be the trapper, and then obviously the huntress, and then obviously, and then people like the trickster. Yeah, of course the trickster, and then you sort of keep talking for 5 minutes, and after a while you've named about 25 different characters, so it gets a little difficult. But that's sort of a rich man's problem, right?
Uh,
It's a good problem to have.
yeah, not the worst problem to have. One of the other big things that we've heard about is the movie. We've heard over
Isn't
here
that crazy?
that Dead by
No, it's
Daylight is
not.
working with James Wan, the
This
Atomic
blew
Monster
my
and
mind, honestly.
Blumhouse.
Please
So,
tell us how that blows your mind because I'm shocked by you saying that.
I mean, I'm just a nerd making video games, right? And now I'm talking to Jason Blum and James Wan about making a movie based off of the characters in the universe that we created. It's batshit crazy. Like it's just amazing. And maybe it's because movies have sort of this veneer of fame around or something, or they seem unattainable, like walking the red carpet to go see a movie based off of the stuff you made up. Like it's to me, just saying the words sounds completely insane. That being said, it was a long conversations with them to figure out if we were the right partners or if they were the right partners for us. And in the end, I mean, Blumhouse is one of the top houses for horror for sure.
Absolutely.
And especially they are great at taking something and making a simple version of it. And I say that with a lot of respect for this, because they make small-ish movies like the whatever, pick one of their many things that they've done, and it's usually very simple. It's like a one house, a couple characters, and they really focus on creating intense reactions in people, and it was so well suited to what we had in mind for a Dead by Daylight movie. Uh, and James Wan is of course a master of his craft also. So all of that. Right now, obviously, with the writers' strike, there's a bit of a we're sort of going to be there's going to be delays, let's say, and since I have no idea how movies get made, I can't tell you if it's going well or not, which is just frustrating. But we are looking for a showrunner, like someone who will own that product completely. We need to know that it's someone who gets what we're trying to do. Ideally, someone who's a fan already, or someone who's willing to sort of drown themselves in our world and really, really live it. So yeah, it's very exciting. We've talked to some really interesting people, and I can't wait.
That's so exciting.
I'm sorry, I was updating my resume. I'm sorry. But no, and I fully understand, Matthew, what you're saying, because, like you said, this game started with 3 killers, and, it was nothing when it started. Who knew what it would become? And I could see that surrealism setting in with you, but I've said for years, that I don't know what Dead by Daylight's waiting on. They have a Marvel cinematic universe of horror, and
Mhm.
that is 1,000,000% what you guys could bring to the genre, and your characters just scream it.
Yeah, that's kind of the point right now. The most difficult task right now is really to figure out, like, what's the to take your example, what's our Iron Man? What's the first uh, post that we plant down and we say, this is how we tell stories. This is the kind of universe we're building. Just hold on, there's more coming. So the idea of figuring out which is the first, uh, yeah, what's the first foray? Like, how do we uh, unveil that story to people, if you will? Uh, that's the biggest hurdle we have. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's difficult.
Like you said, a rich man's problem, though, because you have so many great stories to tell, and
Yeah.
it's you've created such a world already, but you're moving it to a whole nother realm. And where do you begin? Absolutely.
Yep.
I really truly hope we can have you on again, because we could have a whole nother 4-hour conversation about it.
But I'm already telling you, I'm happy to do it again. So just
Great.
get in touch with
Oh, yay.
Ode, and yeah, we'll be happy to. Just to be sure, Ode, all the stuff from the anniversary is okay to talk about, right?
That is correct. Yes,
Okay,
they
okay.
received
Oh.
the press release. We can talk
So
about this, and it won't be released until tomorrow.
that's fine. Because I want to
Yes.
say on the topic of that, the other thing that is sort of crazy that was very similar to the movie is our partnership with Supermassive. Because
Yes.
Supermassive is at the top of the storytelling game in video games. Like there are a couple out there, but they are really in a unique position where they tell stories. They show how video games as a medium to tell stories has matured and really can do things in ways that books or TV or movie couldn't. Uh,
Mhm.
and the fact that we are teaming up with them to create a Dead by Daylight story using their talent is also so amazing for us.
All right, you're screwing up our spreadsheet,
Oh,
our run sheet
sorry.
here, but that's fine. We'll jump
well,
right to it. What's the matter, Kat?
Oh, no, because I think we were gonna get into the anniversary here
Yeah,
soon
yeah.
All right.
anyway. Yeah, I was gonna ask about the music, the anniversary music. Iron Maiden, Slipknot.
Yeah. Also, another thing that I wake up in the morning going, "What the fuck? Did I just talk to the representatives from Iron Maiden, telling them, okay, we'll see you on Monday to do more on this." Like, so yeah, Eddie is coming into Dead by Daylight. Eddie,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Wow.
Eddie had so many different versions and outfits. It was a perfect fit. I mean, and don't get me wrong, the video game, especially horror and the metal iconography and sort of lore and mythology fits so well together. Like I still have my T-shirt from Brutal Legend, which was a great game way back when. but that the metal world is such a great fit for us. So yeah, adding Eddie as character costumes. So there'll be legendary outfits for a couple of our killers. So recreating all the iconic, uh, album covers that Eddie was on. Got so many
Yeah.
different versions of Eddie. Yeah, that's gonna be absolutely insane. And then Slipknot, the Slipknot masks. So the idea for us is to have a series of 9 masks, which are taken from some of the most iconic band members over the years in Slipknot,
Mhm.
and release those as masks for our killers.
That is very cool. And
Yeah.
like you said, metal has kind of its own story as a genre. It's got like its own deep lore.
Yeah.
I think that's really good for the direction that the storytelling direction that you guys are going in.
The funniest bit of the conversations with the metal bands was mostly they don't want to be associated with the bad guys. Even though the iconography is very horror, it's very like threatening.
Hmm.
It's usually like sticking up for the little guy. That's usually the message you
Mhm.
get quite a lot in metal music. So they sort of by knee-jerk reaction, they wanted to be associated with the survivors and not the killers. Uh, Obviously, after long conversations, first of all, the killers in our game are sort of victims too. They are taken to the world of the entity and sort of forced to become the worst possible version of themselves. But in a sense, also visually and thematically, the visuals of those masks for Slipknot and the Eddie character just fit perfectly well on the killers and would have been really weird on our survivor.
I cannot wait to see what those look like on killers because I mean the masks in their own way look terrifying on
Yeah.
their own. You know, I mean even Tom Savini's team has worked on some of those masks and they're so tied to the roots of the horror genre and that's gonna look great.
Yeah, I can't wait. And like we say in the anniversary, it's still super early right now, so we don't have exact dates of when this is coming, but soon. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I wanted to get into the 8-year or the kicking off year 8,
Yeah.
the anniversary, the new chapter. What can
Yes.
you tell us about it? New killer,
Well,
new survivor, new map.
yeah, and again, this is another step. So last year, like 2 years ago, we did the first Western inspired map and chapter. And it was a very interesting thing, and some people were taken aback a bit, but it fits really well. Last year we did the medieval theme, which is also a great place for horror to take place. And this year we're going sci-fi and sort of space, which historically there's been some really really cool horror stories being told about sci-fi in space. It can be very
Absolutely.
upsetting. Um, and so this time, uh, Dave does it so much better than me, but I can tell you a little bit. So the new killer is called the oh my god, now I don't have it up. I'll
The
have to see.
singularity.
Yeah,
The
the
singularity.
singularity. I keep forgetting. Uh, but and it's an interesting take on the cyborg because usually cyborgs are a living organism or a creature that adds metal bits to sort of transform into something new. In this case, it's an AI that is incorporating organic bits to be able to become more powerful. It's sort of even more upsetting, I think, and terrifying. And the AI is such a it's such a what do you present, like it's one of those conversation pieces that we're having
Mhm.
quite a lot right now, and how AI can like go bad and turn on you. So it's sort of it's a great universal theme, especially in sci-fi. uh, we tend to do that quite a lot. Obviously over the years it's become quite evident that we like to dig into universal folklore and universal either urban legends or mythology and things like that, because I mean, even if you get like an urban legend from Japan, it will somehow resonate to people in Canada, in the States, or Brazil. Like these things, these themes of horror, these upsetting things are very human, and humans are human wherever you are. So that new chapter as the that killer, the new survivor. We haven't given details much right now. I believe Gabriel Soma is he's a lone survivor. Like he's a it's almost like the Martian. Like he's someone who is willing to go somewhere where he knows he will be completely cut off from everything. He's a loner, but he's also he gets stuff done. Also, interestingly enough, he's kind of hot.
I was just saying that. Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah.
He really is. He really
Yeah,
is, though.
I mean
Yeah.
it's depends on your personal taste, but I I think
I
we
think we
kind
can
of
agree that this
yeah,
is a
he's
general
kind of hot.
consensus. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I was just saying that. Vittorio, you have a long lore in him being hot as well. He got a
Yeah.
lot of attention.
Once in a while we do have to try to make an effort. The other thing also is that this is going to be a brand new theme in our
Yeah.
so the map that we have right now has
Yeah.
some super interesting flora and like it'll take you somewhere completely different from what we've seen so far. And our team is really, I mean, over the years, it's become more and more impressive. I think that the map for the artist, the Erie, is for me one of the most out there that we've done. So surreal and sort of shocking. And then I think that this one really, really impressed me by how completely different from everything we've done it is. It's so gorgeous, it's so rich, but at the same time it is very it's upsetting and it's alien. It's very different from what we have. So yeah.
I was going to ask you about the map because when I looked at it, it was like a tropical Skull Island.
Almost.
It had and we haven't seen that from Dead by Daylight yet. So what's it like, kind of putting beauty in with the gore that you guys do so well?
Well, I think the interesting bit about this one is that you're right. There's a rich vegetation, which is usually associated with concepts of like vacation
Mhm.
and something that's relaxing and pleasant. But at the same time, like I said, it's all alien vegetation. It's all stuff that you've never seen before, and therefore any of it could potentially be hostile. And that's sort of where it works. The other thing also is the way that like there's a human built stuff, like there's a base of operation and there's a few things you'll see here and there, but they all seem uh, weak in a sense, as in they're not like big, massive bunkers that can resist everything. Most of them are almost overrun already by the vegetation, so you can see that the vegetation is sort of taken over, and it's not your friend, and it is a hostile force in that map.
Yeah, the sci-fi horror is a very interesting addition to uh, your typical slashers that you already have in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, and that's it. We have to sort of swing for the fences and try new things. Well, first of all, for our own sanity, we can't just do the same thing over and over again. But
Absolutely.
also because the idea is to keep the game fresh. I think that one of the things that is useful for the continued success of Dead by Daylight is the fact that whenever you start a game, you're not exactly sure who you're going to be up against. You're not exactly sure where you're going to go. You're not exactly sure who the people around you are going to be, if you can trust them or not. And that sort of uncertainty has to constantly bring surprises. It has to constantly be there to sort of shake things up. And so we have to create maps that are unexpected and that are very different from what already exists each and every time.
Speaking of unexpected, I have a question that I don't know if you're allowed to talk about, but I have to know. Nick Cage,
Yeah.
how did that happen?
Kat is just for a little background. Kat is our local, and our other host who couldn't make it today, Rob, are the local Nick Cage obsessed fans. So
We
this
actually
is
just
great for
started a
them.
Nick Cage podcast.
But aren't we all, in some sense, Nick Cage fans? It came about because a couple of years ago, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little more, we started asking ourselves, like, would it be okay? Would it be cool to bring in a real person into the game? Uh, it stems from a conversation like we already discussed the fact that we never wanted to have real life murderers in the game. That's why you'll never have like Ted Bundy or even Jack the Ripper in Dead by Daylight, because we do not want to glorify actual violence, right?
Okay.
Right.
The next step from that was, okay, but if you don't have real life killers, then could we have real life people? Because the entity, grabs people from any sort of universe, even different timelines, even different versions of the world. We've established that already in our lore, so we could potentially have real life people being whisked away to the world of the entity. That's essentially what we're telling with each and every survivor that we made. Dwight Fairfield is a real person from our world that got whisked away into the world of the entity. So why not a famous person? I think one of the first ones that we tried to get was Tony Hawk. And
Oh my God.
I was super happy, thrilled. At some point, some wires got touched somewhere, and I managed to have a conversation with him on Twitter. And he told us that unfortunately his name is locked forever for video games. He can
Oh,
only
yeah.
be Tony
Oh.
Hawk's Pro Skater. That's it.
Mhm.
So fair enough. But it was exciting, and I got to have a chat with Tony Hawk. So yay. Put that in the bucket list. But then that idea always stayed with us. And of course, the danger with real life people is that they can do stupid things, right? Uh, especially live people, because they're not done living. And so they could do more things, or you could learn about them and be surprised. And so we sort of tried to think of all the possibilities, and Nick Cage kept popping up because is in a sense is weird is there for everybody to see, right? It's hard to imagine that he would have another layer of even weirder shit that's hidden. He may, I don't know, but it feels
Probably
as
does.
if, yeah, fair enough, but probably like the weird thing is that he likes to put on his slippers and actually watch the Real Housewives or something like, and that'd be weird about him. Anyway, we started talking about that, and we said, you know what, we have to do it. We have to at least try. Good thing for us, throughout the years, Behaviour, like I said, made games for a lot of publishers and a lot of other licensors. So we do have contacts everywhere, especially in the movie industry. And so we reached out to a couple of people, Mr. Cage being famously absent from all social media. Like, he doesn't have much of an online presence, very difficult to get in touch directly. But we managed to get in touch. We explained the situation. We explained what we wanted to do. And especially we explained the story we were going to build around how he got brought into the world of Dead by Daylight. And I believe that resonated. The other thing that we had in our back pocket is, and that we learned later, is his son is a big Dead by Daylight fan, so he already knew of the game, and that helped. But so we managed to nail that deal, and we started talking about how this is going to be. First of all, we're like, oh, we need to have outfits. Obviously, our game works with cosmetics and things. We're like, oh, fortunately, Nick Cage wears a lot of really interesting, outrageous things when he's
Yeah.
walking down the street or on the red carpet. So we have a rich pot to dig from on this. That's really, really cool. And he that was part of what he wanted. He's like, yeah, obviously you can't do my characters from movies, because that's not what we're talking about here.
Mhm.
But yeah, just create outfits that I would wear. Like, sure, yeah, we'll do that, Mr. Cage.
Just an FYI, though, these will not be released yet, but they are in the works. I just wanted to do an FYI.
No cosmetics coming with Nick Cage as of yet.
We're not
Tomorrow,
talking about it yet.
Right.
no, c'est ça.
Right.
That's what I meant. Like c'est ça. Okay.
So I'm giving too many details right
Matthew
now. is
got
what
in
you're saying.
trouble is what
No,
happened just now.
I mean,
He did
in
not.
my-
No.
That's
If I do
fine.
these things and I don't make people from PR at least a little uncomfortable, I haven't done my job.
That is super fair. I also would like to imagine that if Tony Hawk used the perk light, he would jump on a skateboard. That was the design, right?
Yeah,
It had to be. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the other thing. We're not gonna talk about the perks right now
Right.
for
Yeah.
Nick Cage yet, but they
Oh yeah.
are
Yeah.
awesome, and they are all about the fact that he is such a powerful actor. Like
Holy shit! I
his
didn't think of that.
acting power is so. Yeah, that's it. And even the story, you'll see it. You won't see it much in the teaser, but you can decipher some of the stuff. Uh, he's yeah, he's such a powerful actor that he manages to turn roles into reality to a certain extent. Uh, the other thing to know also is that we were lucky enough to, well, I mean, lucky enough, it was part of the deal. He wanted to record his own voice in the game. And an interesting note about Dead by Daylight: mostly our survivors, they just grunt and scream. They don't say things for the most part, and so we usually use voice doubles, and especially we hire people like metal singers and people who are used to do extreme exertions with their voice, because it can be really difficult to record screaming and screeching for like 3 hours straight. But Mr. Cage told us there's never been a voice sound alike for me, and we're not going to start today. So he was
Mm.
very, very generous with his time. He was extremely good, and he recorded all the screams and grunts, and on top of that, all the lines of dialogues for like the teaser, for the trailer, for everything else we're gonna do around him. And fortunately, because I don't think we could have ever gotten a sound alike that really conveyed Nick Cage, right?
If anyone can grunt and scream for 3 hours, goddamn it, it's Nicolas Cage.
There you go. And he was
Getting back,
great.
yeah, I can imagine. Getting back to what you were saying earlier, Matthew. Supermassive
Yeah.
Midwinter Entertainment. I don't even know where to begin here, because a single player mode is so different than what Dead by Daylight is. A single player story game like you guys are
Yep.
working on with Supermassive. What's that like internally, having to switch gears the way you have to work on something like that? Given you have an unlimited amount of story to tell, what's
Yep.
it like creating a game like that so different than what you do now?
Well, fortunately, we don't have to, because we are partnering with Supermassive specifically because they're good. And as I said earlier, we like to surround ourselves with people who are extremely good at their job, and then we leave them the fuck alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're doing for the most part. However, our narrative team and we have now built a team called the external production team, which is to help especially navigate. It started with Hooked on You, and then all those other projects that are sort of close enough to Dead by Daylight that we need to have a hand in it to make sure that it respects what we built around the game, that it's okay on terms of tone, and the narration is good so that everything is canon and it fits within the lore. So we have a team that's dedicated to that nowadays, that is looking right now at Supermassive and meeting with them regularly, and even visiting them in the UK. Uh, Midwinter is a different beast because we did
Mm-hmm.
acquire that studio last year.
Right, right.
So now they are full on Behaviour
Yeah.
employees. When we acquired them, they were working on a game that had a couple of interesting things in there. Uh, you can go look it up and do your research, but essentially they had a game that had a couple of really interesting mechanics that we thought were close to a few things that we wanted to do in a game that we had in mind. So we reached out to them and said, would you be interested in making this game for us, essentially joining Behaviour and working on this game by yourselves as a full-on project? And they were thrilled with the idea that we had. So we have a prototyping team within Behaviour that works on little prototypes like Tum Candy. Is it fun? Like, and they do really quick things. But they had built a really interesting prototype that we really wanted to do, and it fit quite well in the world of Dead by Daylight, and in the the expanded world of Dead by Daylight, if you will. And so that's what they're working on. It's a completely standalone game. It's gonna be awesome. It's not gonna be released any minute now because it's got a lot of work to do and it's a gigantic project. But yeah, it's gonna be, and it's not a sequel to Dead by Daylight. It is a brand new game that stands on its own. It's just in the world of Dead by Daylight.
Okay. I have a million questions running through my head, but
Sure.
I mean, like you said, it's so early on in it. Then yeah, I just can't wait to see what you guys put out because it's such an interesting concept.
I mean, Midwinter is a studio formed by industry veterans. Like, there's a lot of people there from 343 and a couple of other big studios like that. The other thing also is that they've been working together for a while, so it was already a well-oiled machine when we acquired the studio, and it was perfect. We just gave them a new vision, and they ran with it.
That is awesome to hear.
Going back to the your roadmap for the year,
Yep.
what can you tell us about the upgrades to the gameplay mechanics and quality of life adjustments that you guys are planning?
Let me open up the document so I don't say anything too silly, right?
Yes. You already got in trouble once. You can't. I don't know how many strikes you get.
Matt, I'm sorry if I can help you. I just I'd gone for 1 second to open the door to my 14-year-old dog. So if you
Aw.
apologies for that. So if I can help with anything, please let me know. I'm sorry I missed that question.
No, but it's okay. I have the document
Okay,
open. I
perfect.
just want to make sure I talk about the right thing. It's the stuff that usually other people talk about. But uh, we have a couple of major updates. I think that one of the ones that are really gonna make a big difference is bots for disconnects.
Thank God.
In
wow,
an
yeah.
upcoming PTB, we'll have the disconnect bots. So if you just leave the game, someone stupid will take your place. Things like the new loadout search bar, which will allow
Oh,
you to
yeah.
find your perks and your cosmetics. It wasn't an issue 6 years ago. It very much is today.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's also a big push on security, and we will launch a hacking and vulnerability program to help identify and address the biggest vulnerabilities within the game. That being said, it's an ongoing battle. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the thing is if nobody's trying to hack you, it means that nobody cares about your game. But these people are extremely talented and they don't like playing games. They like breaking games. So we have to constantly fight. Uh, we will have also more dev-focused live stream throughout the year. So we'll have more visibility on the upcoming updates. Want to start talking more to people again.
That is great to hear, and I'm glad you brought that up because I did have that under a miscellaneous question I wanted to ask
Yep.
you. We see that so much now in this day and age in general. Everything's so transparent and so online, and updates. Everyone wants updates right away and constantly.
Yeah.
And you guys have to be so close-fisted with a lot of stuff you do. Can we see more transparency as far as live streams? And also, a friend of our community, Huff and Puff, shout out to him.
Mm-hmm.
He also would be very interested. He's a Canadian as well. He would saying, what about like visits to the studio? I know you talked about that before. That is something that the community is very interested in too, seeing you guys do what you do.
Yeah, we as far as visits go, we do that. I'd say quite regularly. We could do it more
Okay.
often, but it is a little disruptive. But we do that regularly with a lot of our content creators and influencers. Of course, all of our fog whisperers. We've done a lot of visits for them so that they have the right information. They are sort of our mouth in many instances.
Right.
They're not behavior employees, but the the they sort of represent us in many ways. I think even last month or 2 months ago, I was at the studio meeting with a delegation from Japan that came to see us. There's a big group over there called OpenRec. They are essentially a streaming a content platform, quite a big one in Japan. And so they sent a delegation. It was probably like a dozen people with some uh, content creators, specifically people who play Dead by Daylight, some that I had met when I was in Japan a couple of years ago. And so we do have people visit on a regular basis. That transparency, the only obstacle to this, there's only two things that get in the way of transparency for us. On one hand is sometimes we like to have surprises, right? Like the anniversary, we need to have a couple of things that we can do a big mic drop and people go, oh my God, they just blew my mind. Like that's one of the ways that surprises happen is we have to hold off some of the information for a bit. The other thing is it takes quite a lot of effort and work from a lot of people to do these shows, to do these live streams, especially because we don't want to have. I mean, there's going to be people that are PR and communications and people whose sole job is to communicate, but we want to be we want the main people to talk to be Dave, our creative director, or Xavier, our art director, or people who are actually doing the job to tell you what we're working on. And if we do that, then these people are not doing the job. They're rehearsing, they're preparing, they're working on a script, they're now going to shoot in a studio. Like it used to be different 7 years ago. I remember like it was me, Dave, and Ash, and we'd just go, oh, it's Wednesday, 3 p.m. Let's just go do the stream. And we'd jump into a room with a camera and just do the thing and blurt things out that we shouldn't have and just sort of do it on the fly. And it worked. And it was very relatable and it was very fun and a little comical. But we can't do that today. Like there's too much at stake. There's too many people involved. We have to be better. We have to be more thorough, and that requires quite a lot of work and effort. And so we have to pick our battles. But to come all the way back, we have decided that this year there will be more communication. We're going to bring back more live streams, especially with dev focused conversations about our strategy, about the life balance, about all these things. There's a big uh, effort that's going to happen, especially around face camping in Dead by Daylight, which has become a bit of a sticking point right now. That's made a lot of people unhappy. So we have a anti-camping system to remedy some of that. We hope that people will get it and appreciate it. And it's probably going to change quite a lot from the system we have in mind right now. Once we put it in the PTB, once we implement it. Same with what we did with the end game collapse a couple of years ago. That changed the game in many ways, but it helped quite a lot with a few issues that we had at the time. So that's the idea there.
The anti-camping is very attractive. Is that's going to be something down the road that you guys are releasing, or is that
it's already in the works right now. The first implementation is going to come in a PTB quickly. I think that this I won't even try to start explaining what we're doing because in the anniversary tomorrow, there are people there like the designer in charge of it and one of our community manager is there talking about that at length. So tune in to get all the details.
Well, everyone heard that already. If you listen to this, so that's been detailed already. That's great to hear. I do have a couple of questions. Again, these are things that are hard for you to answer. I don't like asking licensing questions, but it's so strong in the community. I feel like it has to be mentioned. A lot of heads turned quite a few months ago now when people that were involved in the Terrifier 2 film were adding Dead by Daylight on Twitter and, they want Art the Clown in the game. Again, I this is all licensing. I know how limited you guys are with talking about it, but how attractive is that?
It's always great to see other creators out there be excited about your brand, your baby. So having people who create horror in a professional way, do something, they've created a new IP that's really cool and they've built some really interesting characters and they are excited about Dead by Daylight, and that is high praise. That is a great compliment that we are always thrilled to get. Now, is that going to lead to something in Dead by Daylight? Uh, I can't say.
Right.
If it was something that was going to happen, I couldn't say anything. If it
Yeah,
wasn't,
absolutely.
I couldn't say anything either. So really,
Yeah.
I'm no help here. But it is. But I can tell you, it is. It's not the first time that this happens. That content creators create something really impressive. That big studios or professionals create something amazing, and that they reach out to us, or at least do something to try to catch our attention. And every time we take it as the high praise that it is.
Absolutely. One of the final things I had was a couple months ago, it was mentioned about cinematic Mauries, built-in Unbreakable. These things were mentioned. We haven't seen anything more on that yet. Is that something that you guys are still contemplating? What's status on that?
The one thing I can say about that at this point
Mhm.
is Naughty Bear is coming to Dead by Daylight, which
Okay.
is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yes, yay! Woohoo!
Thank you. Yeah.
Big fan
So
of that one.
no, but that's it. So Naughty Bear is royalty at Behaviour. Obviously, he's one of our
Mhm.
first IPs. It's the game that we made when we were trying to make a horror game where you live the fantasy of being the bad guy in a horror game way before Dead by Daylight. It's sort of the grandfather of Dead by Daylight. Uh, and now he's coming to Dead by Daylight this Halloween. However, he's also the first legendary outfit that comes with his own Mori. So
Oh.
Mm.
you will be able to equip this legendary outfit on the Trapper, and it will have its own Naughty Bear Mori. So that's something that is coming to Dead by Daylight, a new class of outfits that can incorporate a new Mori.
Which was also a mechanic of Naughty Bear, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
Kat, you were just talking about Naughty Bear recently.
I've been trying to get you to play Naughty Bear.
Yeah. Now that I'm
Especially you should play Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise.
Yes.
That's the good one. That's the one I worked on with Dave and Ash and a lot of people who actually are on Dead by Daylight or were on Dead by Daylight.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I certainly don't want to be a party pooper. I just want to make sure that we're still good on time for Matt because
Yeah, I'm good. No,
okay.
but seriously, I'm good. I don't have a hard stop after this, so even if we go over a little bit, I'm fine. And plus, I'm having a good time. So
Beautiful.
as are we. One of the other things, again, I know how limited you are, but I would probably be crucified if I didn't bring it up. Stranger Things.
yeah, what about it?
Everyone's begging for Hawkins Lab and just all how relevant it is now. People just want so much more of it. I guess it's kind of the same road as the Terrifier 2. It's just what's the stance on this now as far as Dead by Daylight? Is this something that, how interested are you guys in revisiting?
Have you talked to people at Netflix recently?
I've tried to.
Yeah, me too.
That's super fair. That's super fair.
I mean, we have never wanted to remove content from the game.
Absolutely.
It's never been our plan or a business plan. That being said, we have talked about potentially like limited time offers for a few different things because that could be interesting, but that's never been the plan so far. And so it was not our decision to remove that content. And if we could get it back, we would be happy to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, one more thing. I kind of wanted to start with this, but we had so much to get to. And it goes to kind of the longevity of Dead by Daylight itself. We've seen so many asymmetrical horror games come and go. And you guys, Dead by Daylight has not only stood the test of time, but has kind of moved with the test of time. And you guys have added crossplay and just the landscape of even if you can get into coding and all that stuff, like it's changed so much. And you guys have rolled with that. What's it like with the overhauls you've had to do? Like, it's insanely impressive when you look at how long Dead by Daylight has been around and the growth that you've had on an insane amount of levels. What's the, I mean, you guys have a great team, and I could only imagine the work that goes into it. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, if I knew the exact recipe that led to the success, we would have done it again, right? We would have done it a
You're
couple of
trying
times
to.
since then.
Yeah.
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 But I think that, like I said, I touched upon the idea that this game is always surprising, and I think that's at the core of the success. The fact that I watched some streamers who have played 9,000 hours of our game,
Mm-hmm.
and we release some new content, we make a patch, we make some changes, and all of a sudden they are still surprised. They are still taken aback. They have to relearn some mechanics. They have to rethink. They scream because of jump scares. Like, this is critical for the game to stay fresh to a certain extent. Now, the other thing I think is it is an insanely simple game to pick up. Like your first game, oh, today it might be a little overwhelming because you see there's so many characters with perks and powers and
Yeah.
things and that. But at its core, if you jump in, you walk around trying not to get caught, you fix half a gen, you hear the door open and you run, like you get it. You get what the game is about. And then 2 years later, you still have stuff to learn about what's the best combination of perks to deal with this kind of killer and that and this. But the core is very simple, and like it's the perfect example of like easy to learn and hard to master. Like it's just the right balance. And if there's one thing that I think we've done right, which is really really difficult to do in asymmetrical games, it's we made sure that even if you play bad, like even if you play as the worst asshole possible, you're a min-maxer, you're a griefer, you're doing everything you can to make the other person's lives bad. That's your goal in playing the game. You're still going to create, for the most part, a cool experience for the other side. And that's very, very difficult to do. And that's where a lot of the asymmetrical games sort of break down because if a lot of them are built like a Dungeons and Dragons game, like someone is the killer, they have to be sort of the narrator and play to do jump scares and really create a cool experience for the survivors trying to escape. But if they're not, if they're just trying to break them and be unpleasant, it'll just suck for everybody. Now, don't get me wrong, there are ways to grief in our game and to make the experience not as fun. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, if you're playing badly or if you're playing without trying to make a good experience, you're still creating cool moments for the other side. And that's something that's insanely hard to do. And that's something that I believe a game that doesn't have that cannot stay.
There's no other game like it. Period. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I had just a final question. Is there any
Sure.
possibility of Dead by Daylight implementing like different game modes to the base game, like ranked versus casual, or like a perkless
It's
mode?
yes, there is a possibility of that. I don't know if I can get into the details. I will. Oh well. Uh, but we
Strike
we
two.
do have a team internally right now that is uh, like doing R&D, like trying different modes, trying different gameplay elements. Uh, Most likely, these will probably be at first, at least, implemented as parts of limited time events, like we've done with some of the winter events and things like that, to completely change the gameplay. Because one of the things that we have always tried to do is not break up the community into different things. We don't want you to start a game and there's nobody playing this mode, so you're not playing, right?
Right.
But I think that with the mass of players that we have right now, there's probably a little more freedom to do this. So maybe having a rank mode, an unranked mode, or even having like a really weird mode that you can play that's it's all snowman. Maybe that's a thing that's possible nowadays. So we
Yes,
do
please.
have an internal team that is just trying to find alternate modes. And they're not redesigning the game. It's not going to become hockey all of a sudden. But finding interesting ways to switch things up a little, maybe a completely different pace to the game, maybe different objectives. Yes, that's something that's being looked at right now.
That is
Okay, awesome.
very refreshing to hear. Matthew, thank you so much for your time today. You've been very generous. You and your team.
That's it? You're kicking me out?
Well, I did actually. I did have one thing I wanted to say to you, and it's kind of a joke within our community. We do play Dead by Daylight heavily. Allie is she streams it extremely often. We have a running joke of how important generators are in that game to be done by a survivor, and we're constantly telling people to do a gen, and it's become kind of a joke. And we want to know if we can get you, one of the kings of Dead by Daylight, to tell people to do gens.
Yeah, sure. I think that it actually goes without saying that as a survivor, do gens. Yeah,
Do a gen.
It's a good idea. I mean, if you don't, you can just clean totems. It's not a problem. We need a couple of those, but really, just go ahead and do gens.
Do a gen.
Yeah,
Do a gen.
do a gen. Get good.
Yeah, there you go. Again, thank you, Matthew, very much for your time today. I really,
Sure.
truly hope we could do it again. You are an absolute pleasure, sir, and good luck on everything tomorrow. Today, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, yesterday or today.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow. If you guys want to catch in the broadcast, it's still really fun show to watch.
absolutely,
So it's
yeah.
at 1:30 p.m. EDT. Should last about an hour or so. And so that's why we lift the embargo at 2:40.
Yes.
And if are you guys doing editing on the YouTube at all? If you're going to post it on YouTube, because I
This
can
will
send
be
you the
on there.
press kit.
Perfect.
I can also send you the press kit, and you can integrate some trailers if you want. Again,
Absolutely.
embargo until tomorrow, but absolutely after that, you're free to use that.
We will be watching live, so you
Yeah.
will know when it ends, and we'll know absolutely. Yeah, for
Great.
sure. Yeah,
No,
that'd be very helpful.
it's always such a fun thing to watch. Like even if Matt and I were shooting this, and still I'm going to watch it tomorrow, and I'm going to be so giddy, and so I encourage you to watch it.
Are you going to be at the
Absolutely.
studio tomorrow?
Je vais peut-être, maybe I'm going to try.
I'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Oh my God, Mathieu is going to the studio. Exciting.
Yeah, I never do. I'm always at home, but tomorrow I'll be at the studio. We're gonna watch all
Cool.
together. Hopefully, there's
Yeah.
popcorn or something.
I hope, yes. So anyway, so thank you guys so much. And if
thank
you have
you.
additional questions, please don't hesitate. And otherwise, it's been a pleasure dealing with you. Thank you all for making this very smooth. Yes, Mathieu.
No, just the last thing. I meant what I said. If you want to sit again and talk about other stuff, I'm happy to do so. Just reach out.
We'll be in touch. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Again, it was
absolutely.
a pleasure.
All right, it's fun.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Sending you the press kit as we speak.
Thank you. Odd, give your dog a treat for us.
Thank you. I will. Yeah,
All right.
he's 14 years old. Poor dog. Yeah, thank you so much. I will.
I love him already. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. That was an awesome conversation with MATHIEU COTE. Be sure to follow everything they do at Dead by Daylight, deadbydaylight.com. Do not miss the live stream tomorrow. No, they did it already.
Yeah, it's already
Yeah, it's
happened.
already done.
Yeah. Pre-recording issues. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. The game keeps growing, and that is a wonderful thing for the horror genre. As always, follow the show on Twitter at Slasher Radio. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Slasher Radio. Get tons of extra content, extra show every week, Easter egg content, all kinds of stuff. Gabagooli stuff and Danza stuff, Allie.
Ooh.
You don't know nothing about that, do you?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the post today? Someone said
I
that
ignored
they're
it.
the highlight.
I ignored it. I did see it, didn't like it, didn't interact with it, will not entertain that type of tomfoolery. But seriously, if you haven't checked out Dead by Daylight, I assume you have. It's such a massive game. Make sure you check that out. And yeah, support the show. Tier starting as low as $3 a month. Patreon.com/Slasher Radio. I am at Mikey's Dead on Twitter. Kat, where are they finding you?
You can find me on Twitter at cat_velour, CAT_VOLEUR. You can check out my website, catvelour.com. We're doing a pre-order drive for my book. All the pre-orders will be signed, so go ahead and order Revenge Arc. Pre-order Revenge Arc.
That's right. Wait, no, do not order. Do not go to Cat. You can't change your Cat _VOL. You can't change that on me.
I did. I'm mixing things up today.
You threw me off entirely with that. I can't believe how badly some small threw me off.
We're recording on Thursday, so my whole like rhythm is off today.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
This is all funky. But yeah, do not go to catvalor.com and do not pre-order Revenge Arc, which will be a wonderful horror genre novel, and you can get a pre-signed copy. Don't do any of that.
Pre-order it to spite Mikey. It's signed.
Okay. Maybe. Allison,
Yes.
where are they checking you out?
You can find me on Twitter at AllieSurreal or twitch.tv/AllieSurreal.
And they will catch you in the fog on there, will they not?
That's right.
That's right. You stream a lot of Dead by Daylight.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Almost exclusively.
Pretty much exclusively, yeah. Great community on there. As much fun. If you like giving Allie hell, that is a great place to do it. So definitely make sure you go check out twitch.tv/AllieSurreal. You can also catch Rob, who is not here today, at Radio Rob 123. Make sure you tell him I said to suck an egg. And good night from Slasher Radio.
All the best of Slasher Radio podcast.